What's going on, everybody? It's Riley, and I am here with another haul video for April of 2020. This is most of the rest of the stuff that I had pre-ordered for April, lacking just a couple of volumes that are from like the last week of the month. So I'll see those trickle in at some point, I suppose. Anyway, so diving right in, I'm going to go over some of these new releases, and then I have a couple of other things as well that I wanted to show. Let's see. So first, and like I said, these are basically second week, third week April releases. From Dark Horse, I've got Gantz, the Omnibus Edition Volume 5. This collects volumes 13, 14, and 15 of the series, so we are almost at the halfway point of Gantz by Hiroya Oku. This is a great action series. It's definitely a little bit more on the mature side, but if you like action and you want something that's a quick and fun read, Gantz is definitely a good choice, but the parental advisory sticker is on there for a reason, so definitely pay heed to that. Next is something in the complete opposite direction, and that's Komi Can't Communicate from Viz. Volume 6 of this really great, really wholesome series. If you want a series that in these really strange and difficult times is going to give you kind of, it'll warm your heart, then definitely pick up Komi Can't Communicate. This is probably one of my few favorite new releases that we've gotten, newer series that we've gotten in the US, given that, you know, it's only 6 volumes, so it hasn't been published here for that long. It's just really, 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 really nice, wholesome, easy reading. It's fun, it's cute, it's very emotionally positive in a lot of ways, and I really appreciate that. So I recommend it if you need something on the lighter side, something comforting. And then I've got volume 18 of Fire Force. This, of course, is the series. It had a pretty popular anime. I think one season of the anime has come out and did pretty well. This is the same creator as Soul Eater, as it says on the bottom here. This is the most recent volume, and I think volume 19 was pushed back a little bit due to all the delays and stuff with comics and stuff. A lot of things from Kodansha and then Vertical as well, because Vertical is part of Kodansha, are getting delayed. So I don't know when volume 19 will hit. I haven't read the series just yet, so I probably during this time that I'm stuck at home on quarantine, I'm going to jump in and finally catch up on this. Now I've got some signature size books from Viz. First, I've gotten Golden Kamui Volume 15. I absolutely love this series. Fantastic, action-packed, has plenty of comedy in it as well. Great artwork. This is a fantastic series. If you have not checked it out yet, if you haven't been recommended it yet, then I'm recommending it right now. This is one of my favorite reads. Every time that it comes out, it lands towards the top of my stack of new reads. Then I've got Ultraman Volume 13. This is the first volume of Ultraman that I'm buying upon release. I was able to get the first 12 all for extremely cheap, and I haven't read them yet, but this is the first time that a volume's come out that I've bought as it released. So I'm excited to read it. I know it's pretty simple action type series, so I'm happy to get into it. And I grew up with Ultraman kind of in the periphery when I was younger, like back when I was watching Power Rangers and different shows like that. I remember my uncle was watching the old Ultraman shows, and he would show me some of the shows and movies and stuff whenever I was much younger. So, and then of course we also had was it Cyber Samurai, that series that they adapted from one of the other Ultraman shows. Anyway, so I have some exposure to the franchise, so I'm excited to read this. It will be my first real exposure, my first, you know, intaking the series and watching and reading and taking in the story and stuff like that, if that makes sense. Next, I have the final volume of Tokyo Ghoul Re. This is volume 16, and this one is a thick boy, especially compared to all the other volumes. It's probably about 1.5 times the size. So this is the final volume of the second Tokyo Ghoul series. So this is it. This is the end of Tokyo Ghoul. I'm excited to read this in its entirety now. All 30 volumes of Tokyo Ghoul plus Tokyo Ghoul Re. Really nice to have that on the shelf and have that series complete. Now I've got a few of these larger volumes I've got volume 5 of the Knights of Cydonia Master Edition. Now, I want to put this question out there because I noticed this the other day when I was browsing upcoming releases on Amazon. So the way that it's listed is they say, you know, this is the Master Edition. Each of these paperbacks collects 2.5 of the original volumes. So with that, volume 6 would then be the last one, basically. But on Amazon, they have, I'm just checking to see if at the end it says to be concluded or anything like that, which I don't think it does. But on Amazon, there's a listing for a 7th volume. So that leaves me scratching my head. Was there a short spin-off? Is there something, you know, where the last volume's really thick so that it's not the same, you know, 2.5 in volume 6 or something like that? I don't know. And if anyone knows for sure what the deal with that is it going to be 6 volumes? Is it going to be 7 volumes? Is it going to be more than that? Is it going to be less? I don't know. But yeah, I've been enjoying this mostly for the artwork. It's a pretty intriguing story, but I really love the artwork in here by Tsutomu Nihei, and really in anything that he draws, or anything that he produces, mostly I read it for his really, really interesting and intricate artwork. His style is definitely stands on its own. And then another large volume, I've got volume 8 of Sailor Moon Eternal. This is 8 out of 10. Volume 10 is going to wrap up the Sailor Moon Eternal edition paperbacks. These are really nice, thick paperbacks that collect the original series plus like the different short stories, I believe, are also in here. And then we'll have one Eternal edition for the Sailor V series as well. So in total, at least as far as I can see right now, 11 total Eternal editions. I really love these. Fantastic series. It's really fun to finally read. Like, I've watched a lot of the anime when I was growing up, but I never got to take in all of it, so it's nice to finally read the series from start to finish. And then this is another one I haven't started reading yet, but another anime series that I grew up watching some of, and that's Cardcaptor Sakura from Clamp. These nice hardcovers have been coming out. This is volume 4. Each of these hardcovers comes with a cloud card, special collector item or whatever. So I really need to get reading this pretty soon so I can make up my mind whether or not I should continue buying the volumes. That would be the smart thing to do. So maybe by the next time I do a haul video that has volume 5 of Cardcaptor Sakura hardcover, I will have read the first 4 by that time. So hopefully, fingers crossed. All right, so that's all the new releases, and then there's some older stuff that I have that I wanted to show off as well to talk about in this video, some series that I'm really excited about. First, this was a gift from someone, a friend, James. If you're watching, thank you so much for sending this to me. The day that he messaged me to say that he had found it was not a good day for me. I wasn't feeling too great, but then he was like, "Hey, are you still looking for this book? I found it at a store. If you need it, I want to send it to you." And so he went ahead and sent it to me. Did not charge me anything. He said that he got it for ridiculously cheap, which is incredible because this book goes for stupid prices online, and that is Drifters Volume 2. This is from the same creator as Hellsing, Kota Hirano. This is published by Dark Horse. This is Volume 2 out of 6 so far that are out, and the last time I looked on eBay, like $150 for this freaking book, which is just stupid for a $13 book, but he claims that he found it at Half Price Books, so I'm sure that they had it for at least half the cost of cover. So that's just incredible. And I've had that happen to me too, where I've gone to like a discount bookstore and I've seen a manga or another comic or something that I know is really rare. A good instance, if you're familiar with Western comics, whoever you are watching this, I found the first volume of The Question by Denny O'Neil at Half Price Books for $10 when it was easily going for close to $100 at the time. So it happens, and it's really awesome when it does. And thank you so much again, James, because the day it came in the mail was also a really crappy day for me, so it made me feel good twice. And then I'll finally be able to read Drifters. This next series is an older collection, something I've been doing the past couple years. has been trying to track down and repurchase a lot of things that I used to own or I used to own part of. And some of the stuff is getting re-released, like I Yuki, I used to own a couple volumes of, but I never continued and finished it. But Kodansha is re-releasing it. I went over and bought like Beat the Vandal Buster. I used to own that series, but I got frustrated after it went on hiatus and I sold it, and I decided to rebuy that. I rebought Claymore, which was a series that I loved, but I sold it because I had no money back whenever we first got married, so I needed some stuff basically for rent and groceries. And this is one that I had kind of been watching on eBay and finally found it for a ridiculously low price, and that is Scribed. Now, this anime, or this manga, is based on the anime series that aired on, I believe, on Adult Swim back in the early 2000s. It is only 5 volumes long. I only had like the first 2 back when I was growing up, and then I never bought the next 3, but I finally found someone selling the whole lot for a stupid cheap price, especially considering how much I was seeing it go for. So I'm happy to have this back in my collection from Tokyo Pop. So it's going to be on the Tokyo Pop shelf, which is right behind me. And I'm excited to return to this and finally read it from start to finish. This next one is, this is kind of the third part of a series that I absolutely loved when I was growing up. When I was in high school, a friend of mine actually was the one that bought the entire series, and then when he left to go to college, he gave it to me because he didn't want to have to lug around all these books and stuff. And they released the third part of it several years ago, and I never picked it up, and I decided recently, because it seemed like it might be heading out of print, possibly, I decided to pick it up, and that is GTO 14 Days in Shonen. So this is the sequel to the main GTO series. It's the third series because before GTO, there were the early years, or the Shonen Junai Gumi series. The Shonen Junai Gumi series is 15 volumes in English that are 2-in-1 volumes of the 30-volume series, and then there's 25 volumes of the original, or not the original, the main series, and then finally Vertical released this, which is collected across 9 volumes. I was able to get a really, really, really nice price on this, and I'm excited because it's been a while since I've read GTO at all. So I really, I haven't read all of the early years. I think I've only read the first 4, maybe 3 of the 2-in-1 volumes. So I feel like I need to go and read that, revisit the original series after that, and then read this. And then there is another ongoing title, which I believe is still going, Paradise Lost, which either Vertical or Kodansha at this point, same thing, has put up on to be read digitally. So I'm hoping that eventually that one winds up getting a physical release. So that'd be really nice to have the 4th series. And I think there's like a shorter series, like a 2-volume or 1-volume, I don't know. But I'm excited to read that. It's been a long time, like I said, since I've read any GTO. I remember really loving it, and I'm hoping that it aged well. So I'm excited to revisit it. And then this is the last one that I have here. Now this one kind of grabbed on a whim because my good friend, sorry, I'm trying to grasp all of these books. My good friend Gio, who has his own channel, and please check it out. If you like what I do here, you're going to love what he does. He's a fantastic guy, and he does great content. His channel is A Week in Geekdom. You might already know him. He does with me every Thursday, and he does, I think, more than just Thursdays. We do videos on the Omnibus Collectors Network channel for Omnibros Live, and he has talked about this series before, and it kind of inspired me to go check it out because it sounds like just the type of crazy action type series that I would love to read, that I love to read in general, and that is Magical Girl Apocalypse. So I don't know much about it except basically there's this magical girl thing that infects people's bodies, and it's kind of almost like a zombie apocalypse type story. In style, it kind of reminds me of, and I know it's probably not anything like it, but just I feel like the way that it would read, as far as like fast-paced action, somewhat semi-horror series, is going to be kind of like, what's it called? High-Rise Invasion, which I really enjoy. The series is 16 volumes long, and there is a spin-off series, Magical Girl Sight, which I think is like 12 volumes or something like that. I don't exactly remember. If I wind up enjoying this, I might put that other one on my list to try and check out and read at a later time. But yeah, this looks absolutely ridiculous. It looks like a lot of fun. I'm going to have fun checking it out and reading it. But yes, it was my friend Gio who had kind of been talking about it. I think he said that a friend of him gifted him a few volumes of the series, and then he went forth and started to fill in the gaps in the collection, buying different ones or various volumes here and there. So it's published by Seven Seas, and it is rated for older teens, so it's not a mature reader title, just like 16 and up rated, basically. So there we go. That is everything I had to show off. New releases and a couple of older books. A lot of good reading that I'm excited to get to. Like I said, there's only a couple more things from April that are going to trickle in. So the next, if I get my stuff for May, which really depends on how this whole thing plays out that's going on right now, then it'll basically be the last couple books for April I'll do alongside with the first week of stuff from May. In the meantime, though, just a little catch up on what I've been doing. I didn't release a video all of last week because I was spending a lot of time reading. I was catching up on all of my new release books, which now I have a few more, of course, that I need to check out. So that'll get me through the next couple days worth of reading. So I read a lot of cool stuff, read new first volumes of Blood on the Tracks, the Transformers manga, and Hell's Paradise. 2 out of 3 of those were really good. One of those I didn't think too much of, so I probably won't be continuing with it. And then I read a bunch of other stuff. Then after catching up on all those books, that was probably a stack of maybe 10 books that I had to get through. I went ahead and caught up again with One Piece. I'm a huge One Piece fan. I don't know if I've mentioned it in any recent videos, but I've been reading the series since about 2003, and I tend to fall behind. Sometimes I will wait maybe a whole year and then catch up and read a whole year's worth of material at once. And so I did that just the other day. I read like 50 or so chapters of One Piece, and it was fantastic. I'm really loving the direction of the current arc. I really love the way that they're going, and there's a lot of big revelations that are making me see things about the future of the series and possibly going towards the finale, which is crazy because, like I said, I've been reading this series since 2003. Literally in high school, my friends and I would talk about, the series and how it was going to end and where it was going to go and stuff. And then I also caught up just actually today. I read a few more chapters of, not a few more, I read the last few chapters of Part 8 of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, JoJolion. I had caught up with JoJo reading parts 6, 7, and 8 last year, towards the end of the year, I think. I don't remember exactly when it was. And then I waited, 6 months probably, and there was about 6 chapters to read, and I read those all at once, and holy crap, Part 8 might be shaping up to be the best part of JoJo. If you're a JoJo fan and you have not yet read parts 6, 7, 8, whatever, the stuff that's not part of the, not been animated yet, I highly recommend checking it out. It's great stuff, and Part 8 is just a whole new experience. So yeah, that's what I've been up to. Expect some cool videos. I have something actually that I have already filmed that's going to be loaded soon around the same time as this video, so you might see both of them at the same time. And then I have something special coming tomorrow, which was meant to be today, but I am doing this. It's a collaboration with someone else, and they needed to delay. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Sound off down below with thoughts and stuff on any books that I've picked up. You know, ask me questions, tell me things, tell me what you've been reading during this time. If you're stuck at home with nothing to do, have you been reading some cool new series, watching some cool new anime, and do you think it's something that I should check out that I haven't read yet? Thank you so much again for watching. If you like the video, press the thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe if you have not already, and press that bell because you will get notified for every single time that I put up a new video. And I hope that I'm providing some content to keep people at least close to sane during these really not sane times. So stay happy, stay healthy, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.